Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Thanks for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from today. Close this out. Okay. So for those of you who are new to mental health moment, I do reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. I hope you all have had an amazing week. I'm going to share a couple of quick announcements and then go through today's mental health moment. If you are new to mental health moment, just know that mental health moment is all about how do you work on making yourself your number one priority? How do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you? So let me go through a couple quick announcements first, and then I'll start today's mental health moment. So, 'cause I know many of you ask, the next place that I will be speaking at, which is open to the public, is on May 21st, which is in Daytona Beach, Florida. So if you're in the area or plan to be in the area, so May 21st, 2025. And where you can register for this conference, it's a mental health conference, is whoisjay.org. Whoisjay.org is where you can go to register. I will be talking there about burnout prevention, resilience, how we can live better lives, right? Healthier lives, which is really, really important for each and every one of us. Emotionally healthy too, not just physically healthy, and mentally healthy, of course. So I will be there. And then yeah, okay, there's some other ones, but they are not open to the public. And then also, I'm super excited, you all, because I will be hosting a mental health challenge next month. Because next month, in case you didn't know, is Mental Health Awareness Month for the month of May. Super excited about that. So I will get you all that info next week. We're finalizing a couple more details, but I will get you all of that information next week. I'm going to invite you to join, and it's completely free to join. But it's a 30-day challenge that I will be hosting. Super excited about that, and just allowing us to just reset and get back into healthier places, right, for our own mental health and wellness. Other announcement I wanted to share with you all is to save the date on October 24th of this year. I'll be hosting. Some of you may have attended last year. I hosted a growth mindset and self care summit virtually. So this year it will be in person. It'll be my first event in person. So I'm super excited about that. But it will be in Atlanta, and save the date for October 24th. So as soon as I get all those details finalized, I will definitely give you all the link if you guys want to register and come out to that. It'll be an all day event focused on, of course, self care, our mindset, just allowing us to reset, recharge, learning the tools, hearing from other experts. So it's going to be a great day. I'm super excited about it. But I wanted to let you all know about that as well. All right. So on today's mental health moment, oh, and also drnekeshiahammond.com/events is also where you can go to get updated information as well for those of you who are new to mental health moment. But on today's mental health moment, I wanted to share with you this idea, which I love this idea of having, not just having our moments of joy, but also having our micro moments of joy. Because a lot of time, what I've heard time and time again in the mental health field is that we think that self care and working on being a better version of ourselves and thinking about our emotional health, we think they always have to be these huge, grand gestures, which they don't always have to be that. You're allowed to have pockets of joy throughout your day, too, like small pockets. I always talk about, for those of you who are not mental health moment, I always talk about what I call take a minute. So literally finding the 60 seconds, and it can be 60 seconds. That's an example of a micro moment, or even shorter sometimes. It could be 10, 20 seconds or something out of your day where you allow yourself to have joy, where you allow yourself to get to a place of calm, to like get your blood pressure to be lower, to get your mind and body right, right? Like you're allowed to have those moments. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips today on how practically you can start to implement that in your life if you're not doing that already. Okay. So the first thing, and this is something that I have personally done that has very much changed my own life. And this is thinking about how do you sort of anchor in your day with some type of small ritual that brings you joy. And what I mean by that is it can be at the beginning of your day or at the end of your day, but something that you do doesn't have to take a whole lot of time that you do on a daily basis that is bringing you joy. That brings you, maybe it brings you to what I call a mindful moment where you're really in the present moment. Maybe it brings you into a place of relaxation, a place of calm. Maybe you're focusing better, whatever that thing is for you, right? Hi from Philly. Welcome. Tennessee's in the house as well. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So for example, so what I did a couple years ago, which for me was just very life changing, and I'm really glad I still do it today, and I'm glad I changed it, is my morning routine, for example, right? Instead of waking up, and as soon as I wake up, I'm on my cell phone, which I used to do years ago. Like, I mean, it's like open my eyes within 20, 30 seconds, having a phone in my hand and checking emails or checking messages on Instagram or whatever it was that I was doing, right? Immediately. Instead of doing that, I have a couple of quick things. It doesn't take an enormous amount of time, but a couple of quick things I do in the morning, which is for me, actually I head instead of a cell phone, I head to my devotional. Because for me, I needed like connect with God, spend time, like read a devotional, read something uplifting and inspiring in my own spiritual journey. And again, everybody, I'm not here to convert anyone. Everyone has their own spiritual journey, what it may or may not look like. But for me, that is the first thing I think of now when I wake up. Along with my gratitude practice, which is okay, what am I grateful for? And it could be something in the same day, or maybe something that happened the day or two before, or something that's about to happen a day or two in advance. So it's very current and very specific and very unique. Actually, I start with that first. Now that I think of it, when I open my eyes, I start my gratitude practice. Then I go to my devotional, and then I'm taking some deep breaths. Right? It doesn't take again hours and hours of time, but the point is that is how I anchor my day. And that's my micro moments of joy that I already start the day with. And you can do something similar or whatever it is, like I said, that brings you joy in the morning, or it could even be in the evening, like in your bedtime routine, like whatever makes sense for you. And again, is bringing you into those micro moments of joy. So that's the first tip of the day, right? So I'm going to give you a couple. And again, some of these you're like, yep, I need to add this in to your day. And some of them you might already be doing, which is great. Or some of them you may be like, no, I'm good on that one, right? All good. Do what works best for you. So my second tip for you is also to think about throughout your day. One of the things that's really helpful, because again, when we think about mindfulness or getting into these, what I call the micro moments of joy, a lot of times we're very, very distracted. So typically in your head, you're probably thinking about either your to-do list or something that happened in the past or something you're thinking about may or may not even happen in the future, right? Like we're just not really focused on the present moment. But if you also work on sort of using your senses to ground, and what I mean by that is you can think about um if I don't know, if you have a garden outside, let's say, and you're able to smell roses or smell certain flowers, or maybe you're sipping that cup of tea if you love cup of tea, like I love cup of tea, and you can, kind of taste the tea, kind of smell what the tea tastes like. Even just doing things that really connect your senses to the present moment and being in that moment are ways you can have, again, just micro moments of joy, right? Sometimes for some of us, you may like, I know some people like weighted blankets. They have weighted blankets, or even like a soft blanket or a soft hoodie, or whatever it is that you're wearing, or whatever it is that you have with you. If it's something by touch, or again smell, or maybe even something you hear, those types of things, just again, connecting to your senses to have a sense of grounding, can be something that's really helpful to you. Sometimes, yes, plan joy is great, of course, right? Like you might plan a vacation or some fun time with a friend, or something else you plan with a family member, or something just for you, some self-care time, and that's planned. And also, I want you to also be aware of and these finding these micro moments of joy to also realize that you can be spontaneous. You're allowed to do that as well and allow yourself to have those moments of joy. So, last week, I think it was last week, the weeks are blurring here. I think it was last week, Dr. King, who is the founder of Black Women Empowered Incorporated. She was, anyways, she was on vacation in Cocoa Beach, which is a couple hours from me in the Tampa area of Florida. And so I went to see her. She's one of my favorite people. So anyhow, so I went to see her. We had lunch, we talked. And then as I was leaving, anyway, she was like pretty much at the beach itself. As I was leaving, I was like, you know what? I was kind of in a rush because I had to get back in town for some things. But I was like, no, let me just take a minute. So I went out on the beach. I had on like these little high heel sandals. I was like, let me just take off these high heel sandals for a minute, and just like feel the sand with my toes. Just like take some time, take some deep breaths, like connect, right? So I could feel the sand on my feet so I can hear the birds that were around me. So like just really and hear the ocean waves, just really taking a minute to be in that place, right? And you may not be near a beach, which is fine. I'm super spoiled, y'all. Living in Florida, there's beaches all around us, but it may not be a beach for you, but you know what I mean? It may be something in nature or not. It could be something in your house that's like just a calming spot for you, right? But something you can just sort of take in with your senses to get to that micro moment place. Um, the other thing is, so the third tip today that I want to share with you is you can also create some type of playlist for you. So for those of you who are into music, that also counts too. So I have, anyway, some of my favorite stations on my phone, like playlists, if you will, that maybe if I'm cooking or if I'm cleaning up or that sort of thing, I'll just turn on a little bit of music sometimes, and that can just be my micro moment of joy, right? So if music is it for you, you may be like, nope, I don't like music. All good, right? I'm giving you a couple of tips today. Some of the things, like I said, is like, yes, this is it. I want to try it. And some of it may be like, not so much. So it's all good. But again, whatever type of music for you brings you joy, we all have different types of music we listen to. Um, Having that playlist that you can just go to again just have moments of peace and have moments of joy. That is important for you, not just for your mental health, for your physical health too. There's a lot of studies on that, but that's something that you may want to give a try as well. And then the fourth thing is, this is one of my favorite things to do when it comes to micro moments of joy. The fourth and final thing is to think about it's called it's like a kindness cue or like a joy cue. And what I mean by that is something that you may see often. It could be something where you live, or it could be something when you're out and about. And when you see that, you remind yourself, well, first of all, you remind yourself you're allowed to have joy. You're allowed to experience kindness. And it's something that just sort of triggers you to be reminded like there is joy, because there is joy in the world. You are allowed to have joy in your life. There are kind people, there are good people in the world, right? Because sometimes there's so much happening in the world, and depending on what you're sort of tuning into, mm, it can lead to a harder mental place to be in sometimes and to function in. Not to say that there isn't interesting and hard things that are happening in the world to manage and to think about. And also there's also goodness, and there's also joy that you can have, and there's also kindness, right? So for example, um let's say your kindness cue was you're out and about, and every time you see, I don't know, like a certain flower, right? Like you're like, okay, this is my reminder that there's goodness in the world. This is my reminder to have my micro moment. What I do sometimes is some of my kindness cues sometimes are when I see little kids, because a lot of times, not always, but a lot of time kids are just happy. They're so full of energy. And many kids are just very full of joy, and they're in their own little world sometimes. So when I see little kids when I'm out and about, it just reminds me, okay, kindness cue, and look how much goodness is in the world. Look how much joy there is. So think about, and again, it doesn't have to be out in public. It could be something in where you live, but think about finding that cue for you that mentally allows you to go to the place where you're like, okay, I can do this. There's joy, there's goodness, there's kindness. and remind yourself of those things because it's true. But depending on what state of mind you're in, sometimes we can distort reality and tell ourselves all sorts of things that are actually very anxiety provoking. And yeah, make it very difficult to function sometimes. But so those are my 4 tips, if you will, today. And one of the things I also wanted to ask you all is for you, so maybe these are again some of the things that you already do or something you want to try, but let me know in the comments what micro moment of joy that maybe you already currently do and is working for you. Right. So let me know in the comments, and the reason why I like for you all to share is because sometimes other people will be, sort of reading what you post and they'll get ideas also and be like, oh, you know what? Let me try that. Right. So I already shared with you some of my micro moments of joy, if you will, which is my devotional, which is listening to music, which is my gratitude practice. Other micro moments of joy for me are, especially when I'm on plane rides or just somewhere, I don't know, somewhere in some type of elevated place, is just seeing sunsets, maybe seeing the sunrise, not too often because I don't really love early mornings, but mostly sunsets, or again, being on a beach or someplace in nature, just finding the beauty in nature and just finding the calmness because the world can be chaotic sometimes, right? But nonetheless, it's really important again for you to think about how do you find those micro moments of joy. You are allowed, you do deserve to be emotionally healthy. You deserve to have joy. You deserve to be happy. You deserve all those things, and you can choose micro moments of joy, even if you are going through some dark season right now. And it's especially harder sometimes when we're in darker seasons of our lives to recognize that those, especially micro moments of joy, you can still have that and be dealing with whatever you're dealing with. It's a little bit easier, hopefully, for your brain to say, okay, fine, I'll just take, 30 seconds of joy today versus, I don't know, a couple of hours or something, because it can be hard. And we think sometimes that we're going through something that is a hard and challenging time. So therefore, we're not allowed to have any joy, which is not true. Sometimes we accidentally punish ourselves, which we don't, like, mentally punish ourselves, which we don't need to do, right? Like, there's enough there's enough in the world to deal with. So deal with that in the way that is healthy for you, and also make sure you're finding little pockets of joy and your micro moments of joy. Sometimes it's just so simple. It's just not always the grand gestures, you all. I promise you that. It's not always the grand gestures. It's the simple things sometimes that we just take for granted. And if we just spent a little bit more time there mentally and just really working on our gratitude, really working on tapping in and checking in with ourselves, and also recognizing these micro moments of joy and choosing to have that type of life, it's a lot peaceful, a lot more peaceful to be in that place. It's just interesting how you can like, it's like you choose joy when you wake up, which is really cool, right? Like you choose, like, okay, in this person's case that they said, like, let me give thanks to God, let me just have my drink my coffee, like relax for a minute, right? Before my workday starts, which means you chose yourself, which is a great thing. Like you all, everybody listen, you're allowed to have self-care. You're allowed to take care of yourself. If you're in that boat where you do need to step away from just trying to prove too much to yourself or the world or whatever that is, in your process of getting out of that mindset, know that it takes time and work on not blaming yourself throughout your journey of not doing that, if that makes sense, because it's really easy to get caught up in self-blame and self-doubt and all those things, but um yeah, not helpful. So, as I wrap up here, it doesn't always take a huge grand thing for you to do to experience joy. I'd rather, you know, if you think about, well, you answer for yourself. If you think about, if you had a moment where someone said, okay, you can have this, I don't know, huge vacation or whatnot, like one time, it's like having that one time for the year versus being in a place where you're just having a lot of micro moments of joy through like daily, right? Like you're allowed to have that too. It just has a different effect. It's sort of like if you went to the gym like one time, but you had a really long workout once for the entire year. Like that's not gonna help you, right? It would never help you on the physical side to do that. Just one time, long workout, took a couple hours, did it once, that's it. It's like, no, of course not. You'd have to, right, exercise more often. And it's the same thing when it comes to our mental health. And it comes in many different forms. Today, for today's mental health moment, it comes in the form of finding those micro moments of joy. So thanks again for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So I hope and encourage you. So many of you listed what you're already doing. Maybe add one of the tips for today, from today, or continue doing what is working for you. But please know that you deserve these things. You deserve to have the joy. You deserve to be emotionally healthy. You deserve to have happiness. You deserve all those things in your life. So I will be back. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. And I'll see you next time, you guys. Bye, guys.